everyone, it's Clarice, and today I'm going to be talking about book-to-movie adaptations. This is kind of made in response to Blabberon's video, which she posted the other day, which I will link down below. And I responded with a kind of long comment, so I thought I would take that comment's content and put it into a video and elaborate a bit more. But generally in her video, she talked about this prejudice readers seem to have against watching movies before reading the books, and proposed that maybe it would actually be good to watch movies before reading books, because many people get excited to read books because of movies, and also because often reading books before watching movies tends to lead to disappointment. I both agreed and disagreed with that because it really does depend on the book. For example, I watched The Lord of the Rings before reading The Lord of the Rings. So far, I've only actually read the first book. But while reading that first book, I didn't feel in any way like I was spoiled. As if I watched the movie and by reading the book, I'm gaining more background information on the movie, and it was still a really good experience. And also, I watched all the Harry Potter movies before reading any of the books. And while I do wish that I'd read the books first, I don't feel like I lost too much by watching the movies first. But from going to that kind of positive case to that kind of neutral case to now a more negative case, a few months ago I watched the movie of The Book Thief. And if you didn't know, The Book Thief is one of my favorite books of all time. And then after watching the movie with my mom, who also loved the book, we were both kind of devastated and enraged. If you watch the movie before reading the book, you wouldn't think that it was a bad movie. Something can be a good movie by itself, but also a bad adaptation of the book. I'm not saying it's bad because it changed parts of the plot. I can deal with movies changing parts of the plots of books. And I would say it was a bad adaptation of the book because while it didn't change much of the plot, it changed much of the message and much of the themes. And I think that's a bigger issue because when you watch the movie first and then you read the book, you're going to have those ideas that you got from the movie at the back of your head while you're reading the book, and it could distort your experience of reading the book greatly. One thing that really pissed me off about the movie was the relationship between Liesel and Max. I'll try to be vague about this as to not bring about spoilers, but generally, in the book, the relationship between Liesel and Max was very platonic, and I never felt that in any way it wasn't platonic. Which made me very confused when my friend who watched the movie before reading the book went to me asking, who does Liesel marry? Is it Max? And that confused me so much, and when I watched the movie, I understood why. Even though they don't say anything directly about there being anything romantic between Liesel and Max, it kind of appears that way. And if you didn't read the book first and you watched the movie, I can see why you would think that. Even my dad thought that when I asked him later on, because he also watched the movie without reading the book. And he thought that there was a possibility there was something romantic going on between the two of them, which is so wrong to me. Now my friend who watched the movie is gonna go into the book thinking that way, and that thought just gets me so mad. I don't know. Also, this is a book set in Nazi Germany, the time of Hitler. In the book, you really felt the fear, but in the movie, I didn't see it. There's even one part in the movie where two of the characters are shouting at the top of their lungs, "I hate Hitler." They didn't seem scared at all, which I felt was so wrong, considering the atmosphere of the book. One more thing which isn't as important as those two, I think, it was the way that death was portrayed. And by death, I don't mean actual people dying, I mean the narrator death. Because if you didn't know, this book and the movie are narrated by death, and the voice really contributed to the overall atmosphere of the book. And I think they could have chosen a better voice in the movie. Small thing, but because while watching the movie, the narrator felt less like the manifestation of death itself, and more like 'twas the night before Christmas. It was just, the worst part is, if you watch the movie, you wouldn't notice a bad adaptation. But if you read the book after watching the movie, I feel like your experience of the book would be warped, which is a situation wherein watching the movie before reading the book could actually be very detrimental to your reading experience. So in conclusion, even though I probably spent most of this video ranting about a terrible book to movie adaptation, my general stance is actually that I feel like it wouldn't actually be bad in most cases to watch the movie before reading the book. It's not a sin, but sometimes I do feel like it could be dangerous to your reading experience. I would rather read the books first just to be safe. But that's just me. I'm definitely more of a book reader than I am a movie watcher, so in many cases I would just read the book and not watch the movie anyway. So what are your thoughts? Do you usually read books before watching movies, or is it the other way around for you? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet, and also please follow me on Twitter if you haven't yet. Again, thank you, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!